Gregg Popovich is moving on from being the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. Now, officially, he will be moving into the front office for the Spurs. We'll talk about it all and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into it for today, y'all. And man, this is not news that I expected to hear. Not today. Gregg Popovich is moving on. He will no longer be the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs after the condition that he went through earlier this year. He will be moving on to be the team's president, which then led to many questions to be asked on who's going to be the next head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. And the Spurs wasted absolutely no time naming the current interim head coach, Mitch Johnson, the new permanent head coach. And, that's not a surprising move when it comes down to the Spurs. We know that their organization likes to do things internally and things like that, hire within. That's just how they get down. They do it the right way, right? That's the right way. You want to build people up in your organization to be able to take over. And that's what the Spurs did here in that case. Can't be mad at it. It's unfortunate. While it, there were always the signs that this is the way that it was probably going to go. That Gregg Popovich, because especially when after he was, out of the hospital and things, and we still didn't quite know what the future was going to be. It's unfortunate, man. But I'm glad that he's still going to be around the team. He's probably still going to be able to do, be connected to players, which is something that Gregg Popovich has just been part of his life for so long. Him being able to stay around players, being able to help develop things like that, be attached to the franchise. It's a really good role for him. He's not going to have the rigors of having to travel with the team night in and night out, things like that come with head coaching, but he's still going to be able to do a lot of the things that help set up that San Antonio Spurs franchise. And so, it is what it is. Gregg Popovich has been the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs since I was 9 years old. Nine years old. That's how long he's been the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. You look at the multiple decades that he's been in place there and that he's been doing things and the different versions of that team, the different levels of success that they've had, the different players that have come through there that he's developed and things like that. Like, there's no doubt about it. Gregg Popovich is one of the best, if not the outwardly best head coach of all time, right? Depending on how you look at it, right? Don't like to get into all-time conversations too much because everybody has their own opinion on it, but I think it's objective. He is one of the greatest of all time, and if anybody has a difference of opinion on that they're just basketball dumb when it comes down to a basketball remedial. And so this is just this. Like I said, it's really surreal. And I'm not even a Spurs fan. I want to be clear here. I'm not a Spurs fan at all. I'm a Bulls fan, as you guys can see, but I am a fan of the sport of basketball. I'm a student of the sport of basketball, and to see what Gregg Popovich has been able to do, I mean, you look at that and you're like, not that many coaches. Like, we have trouble with coaches staying on. Look at how many coaches are fired after 1, 2, 3 years now. Imagine being a head coach at a position for almost 30 years. Just let that sit in, right? Let that sit in. Being a head coach at one spot for almost 30 years. And over that time period, you've won titles, you develop Hall of Famers, you've done everything that you could possibly hope for when you become a head coach at the NBA level. Gregg Popovich is not only done, he's excelled at, and he's been able to teach other people. You look at Becky Hammon moving on to the WNBA, right? If you look at those type of things, that's just that when it comes down to it, man, Pop is one of the best to ever do it. His legacy, you cannot deny the legacy that he has here. And if you try to deny Gregg Popovich's legacy, you are the idiot when it comes down to that. So, I'm glad that Pop, hopefully he keeps having a clean bit of health. It sucks that he wasn't able to have like a farewell tour because I think Popovich is one of those type of names that deserves that wholeheartedly. Unfortunately, he did not get to have that. But stepping down as the head coach, he's going to be the team's president. Mitch Johnson now is already gets to build off of what he started this season, but now he's going to get to go in as knowing that he's going to be the head coach next year. And that just is what it is. And, he deserves it. Gregg Popovich deserves every bit of every accolade to come his way. Hall of Famer, everything that comes down to it, every single bit of it, Gregg Popovich deserves. So hats off to Gregg Popovich. Mitch Johnson now inherits a team that, hey, there's big shoes to fill now when it comes down to it. And it's not to be or replicate what Gregg Popovich did, but it's about to find out your own way to do that. And that's what now Mitch Johnson has to find a way to do, is to develop those type of things, instill his own type of version of the Spurs culture into what he's going to be bringing to this roster, and let that just be what it's going to be, man. So, we'll see what the future does hold for Mitch Johnson and for Gregg Popovich. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. But Becky Hammon, man, she's just somebody that, I would have loved to see Becky Hammon get an opportunity to be a head coach. But a head coach in the NBA, and I think that eventually it's going to come. Right, Jay Williams talked about it today before we knew that Mitch Johnson was going to be the one replacing it, saying that Becky Hammon should be the one to replace Pop. And, that would have been so forward, right, when it comes down to it, but it didn't happen. It wasn't in the card. So we'll see what the future holds for the Spurs. But hats off to Gregg Popovich, a legend in every shape, form, fashion when it comes down to it. Now, with that said, let's talk about from one head coach deciding to step down and moving on to bigger and better things and new challenges in life, to one that is going to be safe. So it came out that the Los Angeles Lakers said that JJ Redick is safe, which is good, and he should be. I want to be clear here. JJ Redick while he had made some questionable decisions in the playoffs, namely the decision to not go to his bench at all in the second half of a game and play that same 5-man unit for the entire second half of a game, was a questionable decision there. But JJ Redick, I think when you look at all the turmoil, all the up and down, the roster not necessarily being in the best place, the midseason trade for Luka Doncic, JJ Redick has handled it about as good as a first-year head coach could. Now, was anything perfect for him? No, nothing's going to be perfect for any head coach. But JJ Redick, the thing that I said when the Lakers hired him was I really didn't have huge doubts about how successful JJ Redick could be as a head coach. It was more so, are they going to allow him the time to go through and develop like he needs to as a head coach? And this is only 1 year, going from 1 year to another. We know that the Lakers, you just never know what the hell is going to happen there when it comes down to it. But I think it's good that he's going to get another year, and he's deserved that year. When you look at now how the roster is going to change theoretically on paper with Luka Doncic, as they look to kind of build a roster that makes more sense for his skill set. It also came out that LeBron James had an MCL injury after Game 5. It was diagnosed after Game 5, but he suffered it early on in the series. This is a coach now that has shown a decent first year. Now, how do you build off of that, right? Coaches have to develop too, just like players have to develop. And JJ Redick's now in that position where he's going to have to. What does he learn from year 1 to year 2? What did he learn going on a playoff run with this Los Angeles Lakers team? What did he learn with bringing in a new player that has the gravity of a Luka Doncic in it, right? Those are all things that are going to be there for JJ Redick to kind of look at and decide what his future is going to hold. But overall, like, I appreciate what JJ Redick did. I know that maybe Laker fans have a different perspective. It's always different when you're not the one that's ingrained with a certain fan base's opinions day in and day out. But JJ has done a really solid job, and I'm glad to hear that he's going to be able to continue and go down that path. We're going to see what's going to happen there overall. But the playoffs aren't done. The first round isn't done yet. As much as it's been a very fun first round. Unfortunately, the Pistons were eliminated yesterday. That's unfortunate when it comes down to it, because I really wanted to see the Pistons continue. And I think if the Pistons had Jaden Ivey, we would be talking about a very different series with the way that the New York Knicks play. They would have had to play them completely different, having a second on-ball creator there with Jaden Ivey. But overall, like, this playoff run has been really fun. And we get, Golden State Warriors, Houston Rockets today. The Rockets have to win this game if they want to continue. Golden State Warriors are going to be trying to close this one out at home. We got Game 7 of the Denver Nuggets Clippers series. This has been the series that I did predict to go 7 games going down on Saturday. And then Sunday, we got the start of the second round of the playoffs, right? Either it's going to be Golden State and Houston if they go to Game 7, or it's going to be the start of the next series in that Western Conference. So, I think it's going to be fun to watch that and how that all shakes down. But overall, like, it's just fun, man. Like, the playoffs are really, really fun this year. And not everything has been perfect. There's been some referee and officiating issues at times that there's always going to be at a high level in the NBA. But I think it's been really fun. Shay says, shout out to Gregg Popovich on an amazing 29-year career, the same age as my lifespan, greatest all time, right behind Phil Jackson. By the way, that fade, Chris, come on now, you already know what it is. But yeah, I appreciate you, Shay. But no, yeah, agree with you 100%. Popovich, the story that he's had. In fact, he's not done yet. He's still going to be the president of the team. And I think that, watching out for what he does now, he's still going to have his imprint on the team. And I think Gregg Popovich is a great evaluator of talent, and him being able to kind of just focus on that part of it. I think that's going to be fun. I think that's going to be fun as a basketball fan to watch. But to get back into these playoffs, so we do have tonight the Houston Rockets, the Golden State Warriors. This has been a very fun series. When it all comes down to it, if Golden State wins today, they move on, they advance. We will not be live for this game as we've been live for every game in the series. We won't be because the Chicago Sky play. I got to cover that game. Then, like I said, Saturday, we have Denver Nuggets versus the Clippers. That's a game 7. Shout out to Big Kev, who always loves to see as many game 7s as possible. That goes down 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. That's going to be another fun game to watch when it comes down to it. Josh says, playoffs are really fun. I've been really busy with classes, but I'm definitely going to catch up with these games this weekend. Playoffs have been extremely fun, Josh. Like, it's literally, it's been one of the fun as far as, like, there's always that one series in the first round at least, right? That's really fun to watch. But it just any given night you can turn in and see some really good competitive basketball. And I think part of that is due to as well the physical nature that the refs have been allowing. They've been allowing these playoffs to be a lot more physical than what they were in the regular season. It's almost like two completely different styles of basketball that you're seeing there. So, we'll see if that continues in this playoff series, but I have no reason to think that that's going to stop anytime soon because this has been a fun playoff stretch to watch, right? So in the next series, you're getting the Pacers versus the Cavs, which is going to be a fun series to watch as well. I think the Cavs defense against the Pacers is going to be fun, but I think they're going to absolutely kill the Cavs. I just don't see. The Cavs are going to kill the Pacers. I don't see how the Pacers really. If they win one game, it'll be lucky in that series, right? You got the Knicks versus Celtics, which you already know those two franchises are already geared up, ready to go at each other. And so it's always fun when the Knicks and Celtics face off against each other. It's even going to be more so in the playoffs. And then the Thunder and the Timberwolves are just waiting to see who their opponent's going to be. Is he going to be the Timberwolves versus the Rockets or the Warriors? And either one of those series, I think, are going to be great. They're going to be storied. And then it's going to be either the Nuggets and the Clippers versus the Thunder. Now, I will say this. I do think that the Clippers are better equipped to deal with the Thunder. Not to say that I'm giving them a chance to beat the Thunder, but I do think they're better equipped to deal with that is the way that I look at it, right? So we'll see how those series plays out. I'm so excited for the Houston Rockets Golden State Warriors game. It's going to be some physical shit going on. Oh, yeah. You're going to need Amin Thompson as well to really, do what he did last game. Like, Amin Thompson is a monster. You need Amin Thompson to really step up and play really well for you. I know that Amin's eventually going to be their best player, and he's already starting that ascent to get there. And Amin's I think he's going to use this playoff stretch really as a launching pad. We're going to see it. Don't be surprised. Amin Thompson's going to probably be the most improved player of the year next year. Just mark my words. The only matchup I can see the Indiana Pacers taking advantage of is Miles Turner versus Jared Allen. And I don't even think that that's going to be necessarily one that plays off into the favor of the Indiana Pacers. I just don't. I don't personally. I would love to be wrong on that, but I just don't see it. Well, we'll see overall what's going to happen. But this is a fun time. I thought I had a hat on. I almost reached for the bill in my hat. Fun time. NBA playoffs are going on. As you guys may see on this thumbnail, we got a new show launching on this channel, 6-Man Shenanigans. Me, JB, who's my best friend. You guys may have seen him on some episodes before. We got him finally locked in and committed to doing a show fairly consistently. So the daily show is now going to be titled 6-Man Shenanigans. That's going to be the title of that show. It's going to be fun. We're going to bring our own unique brand of covering basketball, which is going to be really fun to do. It's if you guys ever, me and JB had a podcast together called My Brother's Keeper. And it was a podcast in which we went over crazy news from around the world. And we just talked about it. We had fun with it. We're going to be bringing that to the side of basketball. 6 Man Shenanigans podcast. I can't wait for you guys to be able to be a part of that journey with us. It's going to be a fun journey. JB knows his shit. And we our chemistry together, I think, is going to be what a lot of people are really going to be surprised by, in my personal opinion. But you guys can let me know how you feel on all that down below. Make sure you're following us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Pod at gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything basketball related. I'll see you guys on the next one. Next time I feel like making a video,